Frank Figliuzzi is also back with us tonight. He is a veteran of counterintelligence at the FBI and has long been one of our MSNBC contributors in this area. Frank, your comments last night during our 3-hour coverage in the middle of prime time brought probably the most text traffic on my phone from all the people in my circle of any segment I've done in recent memory. You talked about a group domestically that few people have heard of heretofore called the Boogaloo Boys and others. It was all in response to a question from me. When these groups of protesters seem unlike all the others, day protests have a certain personality and a peacefulness about them. Everything changes at night. And even within groups, there seem to be a subgroup of people willing to commit that violent act. Explain to people what might be going on within our country, who might be fomenting it through social media, and who these groups are who want us to be in a straight-up civil war.
Yeah, we could spend about an hour on that, but I'm here to tell you that there is a wide spectrum of dangerous groups and individuals who have inserted themselves in these national protests across the United States. Law enforcement officers are seeing signs and symbols and leadership of the global anarchy movement in various cities, East Coast and West Coast. And then we're seeing on the far right side evidence of a group, like you said, the Boogaloo Boys that we've talked about, that's emerging on the scene. And in their private chat rooms and Facebook accounts, they're talking about being present, and they believe they should be encouraging a race-based civil war, or at least a civil war of some kind. So they all are coming alongside legitimate, thoughtful protesters trying to exercise First Amendment rights, and they're exploiting them. They're hijacking this. Now, I think it's really important to say something here, Brian. While the president and the attorney general want to point to the far left only and the Antifa movement that opposes President Trump, this is a small group of protesters across the spectrum. They're dangerous, they're violent, they're doing a lot of the property damage, but they are a small group of the protesters. And what I'm fearful of is that the president is essentially pointing to these violent groups and using them as justification for military response, military solution, really to a problem that is a law enforcement problem, a problem that requires a dialogue to diffuse. And instead of a dialogue to diffuse today, we heard about dominating. Who's going to dominate the streets? The governors must dominate their streets. I will send active duty military in to dominate. We need a dialogue to diffuse. This is a law enforcement problem. Law enforcement can do this, should be allowed to fix what they got us into in the sense of police misconduct. We should allow that to happen.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.